Good morning, Brady.
Good morning, DP. I was going to say, I was just on the phone with Fritzy for a second. I'm a little bit upset that I didn't make his son's bar mitzvah video. I don't know what's up with that. I feel like we call a couple times a season. I can't get on the video or what?
He asked Jimmy Clausen.
That's just a dagger in my back right now.
Ron Paulus did 2 videos for his son.
Exactly. See, and Ron's, I think, back at Notre Dame right now, which is fantastic. But it would have been nice to be able to be a part of it.
I think Gunnar Kiel and Everett Golson did them too, right?
They were
I
involved.
think so. Yeah, they were. Yeah, sorry about that, Brady.
Unbelievable, Fritz. I don't think I can ever forgive you.
I hope we can get back on the same page eventually. You know I love you.
All right, what did you see at the end of the Miami Duke game? And I keep saying that the replay official could have righted the wrong there, and they should award Duke the victory.
Well, based on my understanding of how it all works out, obviously it was a complete debacle. But the problem is the flag was thrown for a block in the back, which is not a reviewable penalty. I've talked with our head replay official at Fox, Mike Pereira, and he actually said that it's not a reviewable play. Now, during the process, they could have possibly reviewed the fact to see whether or not one of the Miami's ball carriers' knee was down before he lateraled the football, and I've seen some shots where it looks like it might have been. Although my problem with that is, what do you determine possession of the football? Because the shot I've seen where his knee's down, his fingertips are on the ball, and you wouldn't consider that necessarily possession. It's not like shooting a basketball before the shot clock where the ball has to be off your fingertips before the clock hits 0. So it's a little bit of a tricky scenario. It's clearly a completely blown play in general by the ACC officials, and they've given them their punishment, suspended them, and rightfully so. But DP, don't tell me you're one of these people who thinks that Duke should get a win for that now.
Yes, because if they replay that, they'll look at the ball carrier and say his knee was down.
There's been so many blown calls throughout the course of college football history. You can't just go back and all of a sudden right all the wrongs. I understand it was the last play of the game, so all of a sudden people think that, we can go back and change it, but that's like altering the course of history. There was a blown call in the Stanford-Washington State game where Christian McCaffrey clearly fumbled the football. It was reviewed. Somehow they didn't make the call. Stanford goes down and drives down and gets a touchdown to get back into that game. They end up winning basically due to a missed field goal by Washington State at the end. That touchdown drive that Stanford had in that game could have made a huge impact upsetting Stanford.
Okay, what if I went back and reviewed the Reggie Bush push with Matt Leinart? So what if I did that one, Brady? Would you be okay with that one?
As much as it pains me to say, I'm one of those guys who, at the end of the game, I don't like seeing flags on the ground to determine who wins and loses. I think it's like in basketball with that last-second shot. If you're driving to the bucket and you maybe get fouled, you can't expect to get fouled and be bailed out and go to the free throw line. You've got to go up strong. You got to make a play. And I've said it before. Even though it's cheating at the time, it's been changed now, where now it's legal to push a player into the end zone. But even back then, I would have hoped that Darius Walker would have done the same thing had we been in that same exact scenario to get a win.
The Buckeyes starting quarterback J.T. Barrett suspended for 1 game, the Minnesota game. Got any problems with this?
No, I mean, I think if you look at the punishment, it actually is similar to other places and how they've done about suspending players. And I mean, look, I've obviously got a problem with the fact that the young man was underage drinking and got into a car and made a terrible decision. It's tough because he's only 20 years old, and you want to give these guys the benefit of the doubt that they're still growing up. They're going to make bad decisions. They're kids, but it's different nowadays. I think kids have to grow up sooner. I think they're used to some of the fame and some of the attention at a much younger age, and they've got to realize that, and they've got to realize they also have a lot more resources than even when I was back in college. We didn't have Uber, right? So you had to call a cab, you had to walk, or you had to wait for someone to pick you up. I just think the funniest part about the whole story is Cardale Jones is the one who picked him up out of the police station, which couldn't have been any more appropriate. It makes you think who maybe someone maybe made a call and they saw J.T. Barrett driving a little bit recklessly while intoxicated. You don't know if that was maybe Cardale Jones. Who knows?
Maybe Braxton Miller ends up as quarterback at some point this year, Brady.
That'd probably be the most appropriate way the Ohio State season would work out, right? It just comes full circle all the way back to Miller. He leads them to another national championship for back-to-back national championships. How fitting would that be?
Josh Rosen had to take the hot tub out of his room at UCLA. You got to keep your hot tub in your dorm room, right?
I wish I would have had a hot tub. I'm a little bit too cynical, I think, to trust people, and particularly some girl that I just see up in the stands that I remember her number, then hit her up, and she brings the hot tub. That's how that all came about. So I don't know. I'm not as trusting as maybe Josh Rosen is. But, yeah, it's a little bit upsetting because it looks like that was more of like a physical healing thing. I think he needed it. He's taken some sacks this year. Maybe he's needed to take away some of those bumps and bruises, but I'm all for a hot tub in dorm rooms if possible.
Yeah, you're just jealous you didn't go to UCLA where you could have, hit somebody up on their cell phone to get a hot tub.
Well, it wasn't like everyone had. I guess everyone probably had cell phones when I was in school. Yeah, that was pretty common, I guess. We didn't have picture or camera phones.
That's a good thing.
Through. But yeah, I would have loved to have. I would have loved to have a hot tub, even though I don't know that they necessarily need a hot tub at UCLA. Do they? We more need it there at Notre Dame. I think maybe I can get on some sort of board or committee to try to get more hot tubs in the football players' dorms at Notre Dame.
Maybe a fundraiser there, Brady.
Maybe that's the next recruiting tool, hot tubs. That's what we have in our dorm rooms.
Brady Quinn, Fox Sports. He'll have Utah and Washington coming up Saturday at 7:30 Eastern on Fox. Great talk to you again, Brady. Safe travels.
Always a pleasure, guys.
All right, Brady Quinn.